What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of The Center Ring. This is episode 222. On this episode, we have a coronavirus update for you. ESL Pro League Season 11, but really Season 1. Riot has new rules that apparently is going to kill college and lower-tier League of Legends. We'll discuss that. Also, we have clothes, so we'll tell you all about that. But before we do, this episode of The Center Ring is brought to you by Alt, also known as Ultimate, as you might see on Twitter. They are the brands behind a lot of Overwatch League and Call of Duty leagues, as you see. You can go and check them out at altesports.com. Anuj, I don't know about you, but before Alt came in my life, I was a virgin father of one. And then they said, here, have this hoodie. And instantly, my son was proud of me.
Your son and your sex life.
It just instantly increased by, I would say, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't agree more, Tim.
That being said, if you times anything by 0, it's supposed to be 0, but not in this situation. So I have a lot more sex responsibly thanks to Alt. So check them out on Twitter at Ultimate. You can also go to their website and buy our new line of merch as we collab with them, 101 Burglars, which we'll get to more here in a second. But first, say hi to Zipnix.
Hey, this is Typix. You're listening to Center Ring.
Okay, so let's start.
What is up, everyone? And welcome back to another edition of The Center Ring. It is Wednesday, March 18th, 2020, 8:41 p.m. Central Time. Hello, my name is Tim. I'll be your captain for this journey into esports. And as always, my co-pilot, my first mate, my best friend, my first choice of a lover if both our wives were to pass away. It's Anuj. What's up?
Tim, that means a lot to me. I would do you too.
Thanks, man. First criteria of being a good co-host is, would you make love to him? Would you make love to him?
Notice how Brett is not on the show anymore.
Yeah, he wasn't willing. So we said, Brett, you gotta go. You just have to go. If you're not doing so already, follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. And our website, tcr.gg, has all the other links that you will need, including our Discord, YouTube link, all that fun stuff. We have a lot to get to, Anuj. So let's start as we always start with the coronavirus update of the week. As your number one coronavirus esports podcast, it's actually, I felt like slowed down a little bit. It's slowed down. Maybe because everything's been canceled, so you can't cancel anything else.
I was about to say.
But I will say, so we said it last time. Being in the States, it's weird because we've kind of known about it just from following esports, so you heard about it. I think I don't want to say we heard about it before everyone else because that's kind of ridiculous. But we at least saw the potential impact that it could have on life, right? Like things getting canceled over in China and Europe, and then we just kind of slowly saw it sweep the globe until it hit us. So maybe we didn't take it as serious as we should. But I feel
my
it
food
now.
supply and my disinfectants would agree that we definitely did not take it as serious as we should. Probably should have bought more stuff.
Do you feel like you are eating through your food supply faster than you should?
Yeah, because I'm also working from home, so I'm like eating significantly more at home than I ever would, right? I generally don't have breakfast at home, maybe my coffee, right? Lunch, not ever having it home. Now I'm like eating 3 meals a day from the house, potentially even 4, just depending on what's going on, right? But yeah, I'm definitely going through the food supply a little bit faster. We did some delivery today. Thankfully, some of that is still available. But yeah, I mean, it does feel like we've known that it's coming for a while, but it still caught me off guard in terms of like how much it was going to impact. Like I never thought my company would be like, you're working remote for the next 3 weeks. Like that was just such a far stretch when when Katowice canceled. Like that was not the next thing on my mind is, oh, I'm going to be working from home in a few weeks here.
Now I have breaking news that I am finally, I think, the last working American that could work from home that wasn't working from home because my company was slow as all get out. I am now officially working from home starting tomorrow.
Congratulations. That's big.
I took
That's
off
big.
I took off my jeans today when I got home, and I had this sense of relief knowing that I don't have to put you back on for like a month if I don't want to.
Are we meeting for lunch for a Warzone break?
That I don't know.
What about right after our morning meeting?
You know, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe I can squeeze it in on Friday. See, my wife works from home too, and I have a child. So lunch is probably like my time. She's probably expecting me to take care of him a little bit.
Well, what about during work hours?
Well, I can't. My work is we're pretty busy. Unfortunately, my job doesn't really allow me to. Fraud doesn't sleep, Anuj. Okay. I always have to be aware. I'm like Batman. I'm Batman of financial fraud.
Now, if anybody from my job is watching, they'll be like, Anuj is a slacker. He's working with this hardworking, honest individual. I'm over here trying to have some fun with my friend. You know what? I'm not sleeping with you anymore.
But no, there were a few esports updates for the coronavirus. Of course, Flashpoint is now moving. I think it's suspended for either a week or a few days. Because now they're moving the tournament to online. So at first it was all in the Flashpoint studios, and now they're moving it to online, like every other league at the moment is moving to.
You see Thorn's tweet like right before they went online?
Yeah, I did. It was pretty awesome. It was, so I don't know when exactly the timing set up, but Thorn, of course, being Thorn, it had to have been right around when ESL announced that they're moving to online, right? It had to have been. And Thorn tweets out something along the lines of, man, feels good, or something along the lines of, feels good to be the only league that's played LAN. Like, obviously taking a shot at ESL. Now, nowhere in his tweet did it say ESL, but Thorn. I feel like at this point, Thorn's Twitter has turned into a, is this about ESL or not type of thing. Like, it's almost like a mystery game where, okay, what's the underlining shot towards ESL at this point?
It almost feels like it's just hurting them more, right? Early on, it felt like the banter was good and fun and back and forth, but now it's like very one-sided, and ESL hasn't had to say anything since they have all the best teams in the world. And so it's like, I don't know if his tweets are necessarily helping their cause anymore. Obviously, they say any publicity is good, but yeah, this felt like an underlying shot at ESL, and obviously he did not see the writing on the wall like we did, or like we just discussed, right? That, hey, this is probably going to affect you at some point, whether it happens this week, next week, the week after. Like, this is coming, buddy. And then obviously it happened, and now that joke, that tweet has been made a mockery of for the most part.
Yeah, well, I mean, much like a lot of Thorn's tweets with this whole ESL versus Flashpoint, a lot of his tweets have come back to kind of bite him in the butt.
For sure.
Again, that is part of the price you pay when you are kind of the smack talker, when you're the shit talker of your group. Sometimes it doesn't get backed up. Now for Thorn, it's just unfortunate because all of it is. Here's the thing: he'll throw out "not a spokesperson, get off my nuts" right at you. Like, if you do try to call him out on any of his tweets, and people will be like, "Well, I thought you said Flashpoint wasn't moving online," he'll be like, "Not a spokesperson, not a spokesperson." Again, I don't see how he can say that with a straight face, or maybe he's not, and maybe I'm getting trolled. Like, maybe he's laughing all the way to the bank, knowing that he got me, because I'm falling for it. I am triggered by it at this point. I'm also triggered just in general by the coronavirus. I feel like it's affecting a lot more than what it was. Like, sports are gone. Everything is shutting down. It's like just to draw. And you feel the issue is because like I feel bad for even going out to the store at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you feel like it just
Because people are like losing jobs and everything, and thankfully we are able to work from home. Like we have the luxury that our jobs can work from home, and then you see like these guys at the grocery store. Which, by the way, I was at the grocery store the other day, and they were like some assholes to some of the register cashiers. Those people do not make enough money to work through the coronavirus. I'm just going to throw it out there. I know they're going to because that's just the card they drew in life. But those guys are getting paid, what, a little more than minimum wage? Maybe?
10, 11 bucks an hour.
Let's cut them some slack, all right? Yeah. Also, let's not shame the college kids who are still at spring break. Maybe the ones who are still at spring break you can shame and shake your head at. But not the kids that like extended their spring break by a week. I think we are all being very boomer. It's very boomer of us, Anuj, when we poo-poo the college kid for going to a party.
Bro, can you imagine us at that time if this happened?
That's exactly my point, is that if you told 21-year-old Tim, who was on spring break, hey, by the way, can you turn me down in your headset, Anuj? It's your deaf ears that I can hear myself coming through your own microphone. Fun fact for those who don't know, Anuj is deaf.
I am.
His headphones are always, you can always hear his headphones through the mic. Side note though, if I was 21 and we were on spring break and you said, hey guys, don't come back. Don't come back from your break. Take another 3 weeks to a month. We'll pick up classes later. What college kid is going to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to go in quarantine now and stay in my dorm room?
Well, I would have been playing WoW at the time, so I might have done that and followed orders, but not intentionally, you know?
Well, yeah, okay, for us, maybe. But if I'm like sitting on the beach of Miami and you're telling me I can stay for another week, I'm going right to that front desk saying, all right, how many more nights can I afford here?
Yeah, what does it cost? What's the Corona discount to stay here a little bit longer?
Now, again, I've seen some news where like people are still there. I feel like at this point, you can't play dumb and say you don't know the severity of the situation. So even as a college student, maybe your parents should be calling you at this point saying, hey, Bobby,
don't be an idiot.
Like it's time to clean up, take a shower, and come home so you don't give us coronavirus and kill us. But I would say for the people who were shaming college students for partying because they got a week extra of spring break, like, come on. We can't all be that boomer where we forget what it was like, that we weren't all that far removed.
No, not at all.
In other esports coronavirus news, DreamHack made a statement saying that they are still looking in to the situation. Not canceled yet. They haven't canceled yet. That's all saying that what they said that before. They're playing the same old song and dance as they did a week ago.
I don't know, dude. This feels like the beginning of the end for me. I feel like we are right around the corner from a cancellation. They stopped selling tickets.
They stopped selling tickets.
Not selling any more tickets.
It's not the best of signs.
That's not a good sign at all. I don't know. There's no way. My mind is already like set to we're not going. And if it happens, great. It's a good win. But I'm preparing myself for disappointment here. Because naturally it's going to get canceled. I mean, I missed it last year. So this is God screwing me.
This is him saying you screwed up last year and now he's going to punish everyone.
You broke up the group last year because of you. Half of them didn't go because they were like from my side. You ruined the feel, the vibe of it. This year, you're not doing it. You're going to sit out one more year.
My heart is saying that we're going. My brain, though, is still saying I'm going to take that weekend off and go to your house to game. Like, we're still doing...
Oh, the PTO is already in.
Yeah.
You don't mess with the PTO.
The time is off.
Once it's in. Yeah.
I'm definitely taking the PTO. Now, will our out-of-state friends fly in? To be decided. If they haven't bought tickets now, now's the time. That is for sure. But yeah, so let's see. So far, DreamHack Summer and DreamHack Dallas, they're staying strong, looking bleak, but staying strong. Some positive news, though, if you want us to look at any type of positive news that have come out of this coronavirus quarantine that everyone is in at this point, Steam is just crushing records left and right. We saw last week Counter-Strike have an all-time high, peaking over 1 million players at once. Well, now Steam in general is hitting 20 million a day.
Yeah, I mean it's
day.
not surprising.
It's
The
not.
number
I mean,
is
given the circumstances.
absurd, but the fact that we also know everybody in their mind is at home, and the fact that we can't leave, I mean, you have to do something, and there's only so much Netflix you can watch. It's still an insane number to think that there's 20 million users daily logging into Steam right now. I mean, it's beautiful for gaming to see that. You wish it wasn't under these circumstances, but man, 20 million. And I guess it also helps that what Steam made all of the Half-Life series free for everyone, as Alex is about to release here
Yep.
on Monday.
A lot of developer sales all of a sudden popping up, I've noticed.
Yep.
So,
Summer, I'm sure the Steam spring, summer, winter sale is all being combined into one and probably out this week. Epic's is releasing a ton of free games on their platform. So I think today is the last day for that. So if you're
really?
interested, Epic has a handful of free games available for you. And so all these guys understand that, people need an outlet. And gaming is generally that outlet for a lot of people in our community, obviously, right? Like a lot of our listeners, we know you're turning to gaming in this situation if you're not working or whatever. So yeah, and some other good news, obviously, Tim, the We Play Esports is doing that Dota 2 charity marathon
Yep.
that they're going to be doing, and that's going to be dedicated to fighting the coronavirus, and that's going on from
Big
March
teams in that
20th
too.
to 26th.
Like, that's no slouch. Like that's actually some pretty competitive teams to take their time out to do a charity tournament. Not even like a charity day. Like it's an actual tournament. It's
Who's
very
involved?
Cool to see. What now?
Do you know who's involved? The teams that are involved?
I can pull it up here in 2 seconds.
While he's looking that up, the esports arenas as well have suspended all operations at all of their locations, and just as I felt like they were seeing good growth and hosting weekly tournaments, even daily in some cases at some of these places. They're going to be suspending all events.
Yeah, so the We Play has Liquid, Virtus Pro. Let's see who else. Team Secret is in there. So it's big Enigma, the newer team is in there. So yeah, they have some big teams. I think the other cool thing that's spawning from this is I think we're actually I think we are getting new esport fans here because and we've talked about it on the show before. The one sport that relates closest to esports that you could almost do a 1-for-1 comparison on is motorsports. We've seen it too, where like a motorsport esports driver in a race sim went on to actually beat an actual racer in an actual physical car race. We've seen that happen before. A lot of these drivers will train on race sims, which is literally a video game, right? That's just hyped up. And so now we're seeing it where a lot of these motorsports like NASCAR, F1 did one because Australia was suspended obviously last weekend. So NASCAR did one, which I read got over 100,000 views. Now I don't know if that's got to be live views because I don't know
was
why.
Was that the one that was like what was it? The mix of F1 drivers.
Yeah, I mean, all of these are like mixed with real drivers and streamers and whatever.
Yeah, I think they had like 180K live viewers across all of their channels all together.
Yeah,
they were like trending 3 in UK, number 1 in Germany, and
that's pretty awesome.
I mean, that's a really interesting, like, Sadakis posted a picture of his room and he's got a full racing sim in there, and like that looks like so much fun just to play on if you have the space for it. And if that's a sport that you already are attracted to, you're right. It's the closest 1-to-1 simulation you can get, right? Yeah. You can't do it playing Madden. You can't do it playing, NBA 2K. Like there's no way to genuinely feel like you're in the game. And if it's not VR, this is kind of the next best thing. And so it is quite fascinating.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if because NASCAR does have NASCAR. Like they do have an esports league on their side. And I know iRacing, there's a bunch of leagues that work with iRacing. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing a little bit more fandom for, like, if you're a fan of NASCAR, take it a little bit like, oh, all right, let me check out these NASCAR drivers and everything, realizing like it's not that far apart. So
Yeah, you probably need like the actual drivers to promote it better, you know?
well, and I
To
think
get
that's
the
why
fans
it is,
involved.
right?
And they are. They're not to say that they're doing a terrible job or anything. It's just by them promoting it, it's gonna get the authentic fan to care about it a little bit
Yeah.
more, right? And see that
Well, it
it's
just
not some sort of
legitimizes
just a
it.
video game.
It
Yeah,
would-
for
Well,
sure.
because especially if they see that driver racing in it and realize, oh, they're racing as if this was a real race. Like that's how close this comparison works. Definitely. So we'll keep everyone updated on any more coronavirus. If you hear anything happening with it, let us know on Twitter at the Center Ring if in regards to esports. But I think it's slowing down. I feel like before our entire news was just 100% coronavirus, and now it's at least slowing down a little bit.
Yeah, now it's just like 95%.
Yeah, it's just, cancellations here, there, whatever. What's going to freak me out is that if it creeps into June cancellations, like
Yeah.
May, June then we're really like, oh crap, this is going on for another couple months, isn't it? This is going to be rough. Now the people who stocked up on toilet paper is laughing at us. Like now we're in trouble. But if you do run out of toilet paper, I'm not saying you should, but you could buy our new merch. You could use it as toilet paper and then wash it.
It's a pretty granola thing to do, you know?
Desperate times.
It might work for some.
Desperate times. So if you don't follow us on Twitter, the big news yesterday is we officially have our own merch line. Everyone has been asking us for the longest time, when can I buy a TCR shirt? When are you guys coming out with any type of clothing or anything that you can buy and support the show? Well, the answer is now you can. So we have partnered with Alt, who they work on the Overwatch League, the Call of Duty League. They've worked with teams like E United and CLG. So they're big.
Gaming.
Yeah, they are big time. And obviously they are friends of the show. So they approached us and said, we would love to work with you guys. We want to do a line. We heard you making fun of 100 Thieves. We want to kind of use that and bounce off of it. So we said, love the idea. What can we do? And that spawns our new line of clothes with Alt 101 Burglars.
It's really awesome. I mean, for us, it's just been such a fun experience because we always talked about wanting to make merch, right? Like we've been talking about this for a couple of years now, but we never knew. Not only was it like when was the right time, but what is the right style of merch to kind of suit our personalities, right? And this was something where we knew it was perfect right off the bat because it's making fun of another org in this sense, or playing along with their clothing line. It allowed us to kind of bring out our creative side, which was making the video. If you haven't seen it, we released a TCR compound video that takes you through a tour of Tim and I's house and our facility, I guess you could say, which is live, and again, kind of a play on with the whole 100 Thieves compound tour release that they did. But I'm really proud of it. First of all, it looks badass. Okay, that was the first and most important thing. Is okay, we want it to be fun, but we gotta want to wear our own merch
Yeah, it has
too,
to
right?
it has to look clean. It has to look good. And yes, it may have been inspired a little bit by 100 Thieves' new number line.
A touch.
We took a few details and said, okay, maybe this could work. But we added our own little TCR charm to it. And I from the feedback I've heard, everyone loves it. It's up for pre-order now. So if you go to altesports.com and then you go to collaborations, you'll see TCR there, and you can pre-order it. There's a red hoodie, a black t-shirt, and even a onesie. Okay. We are baby friendly here at TCR because obviously I'm a dad and Nuge is about to be a dad. Nate, who was the founder of Alt, is a dad, so he loved that idea of onesies and everything like that. So you can pick that up if you want for any future babies or current ones that you have. But no, I think it's a lot of fun. I think all of our listeners get it, right? If you have listened to us at any capacity, I think you know that we don't take things too serious. We take not being serious very serious.
We like to enjoy ourselves with the show. That's the reason we do it, right? Like we do it to have fun, and this really was one of those moments. And it's important to know this is like the first line of our collaboration with them,
Ever.
right?
Well, it's our first line ever.
It's our first line ever. First of, I think, a handful of lines that we will end up doing in collaboration and partnership with Alt, and each one will, I think, have a unique feel to it, and we're kind of working through that. But I'm really proud of the first one. I have a favorite piece out of them. I know we only have 3 pieces on there, but to me, that red hoodie looks so clean. And if you've seen the 100 Thieves newest line, they had a red shirt that was like an in-store exclusive shirt. Well, we wanted to bring exclusivity to all. And so we took that red, we spiced it up a little bit, we added a 1 to it, threw a quote by this Tim guy on there, and voila. Like, it's my new favorite piece of merch that we have. And so
Yeah.
we're really just excited about it all the way around.
Can't wait to get my hands on it too, because I know Nate's even said like the ink that they're using on it's not cheap. Like it's going to be high quality. And if you've ever bought anything from Alt, all they do is high quality. I know you have the white hoodie that people, if you see the stream or on YouTube, Anuj wears their white hoodie. I have a few things like the tie-dye shirt for the fuel and everything. So I like I said, I'm super excited to work with them. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of things in the background, and we've been working on this for like, what would you say, a month or something. Like this has been a lot of work, but a lot of fun getting up for you guys. So hopefully you can go check it out. If you want to buy a piece, make sure you tweet us at the Center Ring. I want to see everyone who buys one. I want to see it, and just to thank you and everything there. So that's, again, altesports.com. Go to collaborations and then TCR. You can also see it. We've tweeted it out a handful of times at the Center Ring as well. So with that being said, what else is here? Let's talk a little ESL if you want. You want to talk some ESL Pro League Season 11, but really Season 1?
Season 1-11.
So that started. I mean, did you? So last episode we were talking about how we'll see if we care about this, because we typically don't, about the leagues.
Yeah.
I remember why I didn't care.
Why?
Because European time sucks.
Does suck, but not when you're working from home.
No, maybe I can actually watch some of the matches tomorrow then, because I haven't been able. I just see like Twitter and our Discord blow up about Astralis losing, and I'm like, I can't watch it. Like, I can't see it. It's killing me.
Yeah, I got a chance to watch quite a few games. I kind of just have it on the other monitor and let that go as the morning starts up, because it's nice. It kind of kicks off right away. And I mean, kind of right off the bat, we had a handful of upsets through the first few days, except for today, and we'll kind of get into today here in a moment. But it did start off with what I thought would be the bounce back series for Astralis, right? Everyone's kind of looking for them to get back into form. They've looked mediocre to start the year. It just hasn't felt the same. And it continued that way. I mean, they got swept 2-0 by nip of old teams, right? A team that we didn't really know what to expect, because they have a handful of new guys from Knock. Obviously, Plopsky is still relatively fresh, new in the scene. But they looked really good. I mean, they played them really, really well on Overpass and Vertigo. Vertigo is one of those maps that Tim always likes to say, hey, if you are 50-50 and you don't know if you don't think you really have a chance to beat a team,
take Vertigo.
Play one of 2 maps, right? Vertigo, or maybe toss into Dust 2, because everybody knows how to play Dust 2.
I'm saying if we played Astralis, we would get 16-0 on every single map. I'm giving us a 1% chance to get a round win on Vertigo.
I was gonna say I'll give us 1% chance to win on Vertigo.
Just knock them out of the tournament.
Just knock him out.
All right,
especially
I'll
the
take
BO1.
that too.
Yeah, Nip beat him 16-6 on Vertigo, 16-8 on Overpass. It didn't end up going to Train, which was the decider match. Rez was absolutely
Did you say was
incredible.
Vertigo their pick?
Vertigo was
Do they do picks?
Nip's pick.
Nip's pick.
Nip
Okay.
picked Vertigo. Astralis picked Overpass. And again, both maps they got it handed to him. Rez was kind of the sniper on both maps. He looked really good, including even today. Even though they beat Spirit pretty handily today, but overall that little bit of a surprise. I mean, I didn't know what to expect from Nip. So I shouldn't say like there's no way I saw this coming. It's just I didn't know what kind of team they were. So good start for them. And then another team that's
Before we get too far from Astralis, I did want to bring up, because we talked about Thorn and we talked about how every time he tweets something, I have to read like, okay, is he being serious or is this salty Thorn about ESL? Did you see his tweet about Astralis?
I read it that he knocked Astralis pretty hard.
He knocked Astralis pretty hard, saying how welcome back to being a normal team is essentially what he said. Now, again, I think that is probably, I'm going to say 60-40. 60% being salty that they're in ESL, and 40%, man, you know what? I'm taking that back. 70-30. 30% he actually believes that, and 70% he's salty for what he feels like they did to Flashpoint. Because remember, Flashpoint thought they had Astralis. They thought they had them in the bag, because that's when they all started puffing their chest a lot. And then Astralis said, no, we're going ESL. And that's where the salt cannons,
the dominoes fell at that point,
Yeah.
because once Astralis went to ESL, everybody...
I get Astralis has had a slow start of the year. I get that, people. But we have seen this from Astralis before. They get slow, right? Like, especially in, like, this is league play. We see a lot. This is not any different.
Online league play at this point.
Online league play too, which we have seen the best of teams struggle in. And that's not to say, oh, well, it's online. They can't compete online, because I'm not in that campaign, right? Any listener of the show knows me. I hold online just as valuable as a LAN match, because back in the day, that's how a lot of qualifiers were held. We've been able to, things are good in esports. We don't do as many online leagues or online qualifiers, but 4 or 5 years ago, I mean, that's what these leagues were. And
not even that long ago in some cases. For
you didn't see. Well, yeah, last year was the first year ESL even did a LAN season. Before that, the only LAN you saw for ESL leagues were the playoffs. Yeah. So I don't jump in that pool where, hey, it's online, so it doesn't matter. But we've seen top teams struggle, whether it be to care or what, in online matches.
We've seen top teams struggle to start off this whole year, right? Like Na'Vi had a good start by winning their last tournament, winning Katowice, but then they lose 2-0 to North.
I think I just went blind.
What'd you do?
I'm drinking pop, and like the fizz popped in my eye.
Killed you?
I think I'm dead. You're gonna have to continue the show. I can't see. All right,
well, North beat Na'Vi 2-0.
That really burned.
That's a team that nobody would have seen beating Na'Vi, right? I mean, it just didn't seem comprehensible after the way Na'Vi has played to start off the year. But again, they started off
North
slow.
Pisses me off.
Yeah,
they really
those teams where it's like
annoy me. Like them, G2 and Mouse Sports infuriate me, because they make us look so dumb all the time.
Yeah, but North does it like once every 6 months, right? They don't do it that often.
Not
now, Mouse Sports and these guys, definitely do it. G2 even a little bit more so. But I mean, I feel like North, it's like, hey, we suck. Let's kick MSL. Oh, hey, we suck even more. Let's bring MSL back. I don't really know what their overall strat. I don't see it continuing. They beat Na'Vi, good for them. That's a good win, but we have a long season, and I'm not going to say that makes North the top 10 team all of a sudden. We saw Fnatic lose to Big. Another team that you would have just never thought that was going to be the case with the way Fnatic ended the season, coming into this year. A lot of hype around them, and they had played so well. And Big comes in and, I wouldn't say comfortably beats them, but on Inferno, they had a 16-7 win. 16-12 on Mirage to take that. Overall, Tabson looked a little bit closer to old school Tabson. We haven't seen that in a long time from him. And that was, part of what helped them, knock out Fnatic. But again, I kind of to get back to the point, a lot of teams have struggled early in the year. And to think that Astralis, because they lose 2-0 to Nip Hair, or they drop a game, in a BO1 previous year, they had, what was that, BO3 that they lost to Complexity, or maybe whoever that was just a few weeks back. If you think that's their undoing, you're like, you've lost your mind. Like Tim said, they've done this a handful of times. They've had stretches where they've looked bad. Tell me this after they get knocked out of a major before making it to the playoffs. Where they get eliminated in group stage and Astralis is falling off. If that happens, okay, put this tweet out there. Let's talk about it. It's a little bit more realistic. But losing an online match during a time when all this shit's going on in the world.
Week 1 of the league.
Week 1 of the league, it's not the end of the world. And again, these people are playing from different locations, right? They're not everybody has the same internet. Like, there's advantages here. We saw some people from Complexity playing with terrible pings in their match.
That was the team I was going to bring up here. Is like, out of all of these where you're like, okay, don't freak out, or this isn't with the team that we're seeing, Complexity is the one that I'm complexed about. Because I feel like that was a team where in my brain I felt comfortable about the roster. But then when I see that now they're moving to the EU side of Counter-Strike, I'm like, oh, hold up. My brain completely flipped. Like, are these guys still living in Frisco?
I don't think. Yeah, you know what? I don't know that exact situation. I know some of them had pretty tough pings. I think it was Poison. I don't know who else. Poison had a little bit of a tough time, and he was -14 throughout the series against Forza. He was losing opening duels to Flit quite often, who is obviously sitting in EU. I don't know where they're sitting. I know a couple of them had some ping issues. But again, Forza, although not a household name, like, not a bad team. They're ranked top 25 in the world for a reason. Flit, again, I mean, he was really the difference maker in that match. Not a name that you hear all too often, but he was, plus, I'm looking this up. He was like plus 16 for the 3 maps that they played, and I didn't think Complexity played bad. I just thought they lost the last match in overtime. They were able to, I think, pull that back. Like, I think they were down quite a bit and pull that back. So again, I just don't take too much from this. Like, this is the most we've ever talked about a week of Pro League before, and it's only because everything's like so damn slow right now. So I'm not going to sit here and freak out from any of these results. Like, I'll care maybe a little bit more towards the end of the year. I think the teams that do have to worry is like a team like ENCE. Like, they've sucked for so long now. There's not much coming back from that. Like, they are a terrible team who made a terrible decision to let Alexi B go. Sunny has been a god-awful pickup. Alu doesn't look the same. Like, none of these guys look like the players that we saw when they made their major run. So if I was ENCE, yeah, I'm worried about this loss to Team Spirit, but that's only because we sucked for the 3 previous months, not because we just had this loss to Spirit.
Like all the other, like Fnatic, Na'Vi, Astralis, maybe Complexity, all those 1 losses were outliers. That was like, okay, we can make an excuse for those. With ENCE, you're absolutely right. Like, you guys, it's like the theme song was a curse, right? The EZ for ENCE, you look like idiots now when people play that song ironically at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's one of the worst. I don't know if it's one of the worst roster moves necessarily, but it's been one of the biggest moves that's resulted in, like, just total turmoil for that team, right? Like, I don't know if Alexi B, him being there, would make this team significantly better right now because I think everybody is playing so poorly on that roster, but they did not need to make a change. And they forced that change. And from that, they've looked terrible since then. So tomorrow we got a good slate of games. We'll kind of just jump into them real quick and just let you know who they are. But again, that'll start tomorrow morning. We'll start off with North and Forza, two teams again that we just talked about that pulled out wins, and so we'll get a chance to see them go head to head. We have Navi and Big, and then Fnatic Complexity, and that's the one I'm actually excited about that matchup. That'll be a fun one to watch. Both teams coming in at 0-1 and having a chance to kind of redeem themselves. I want to just see some good CS from both of them more than anything. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say the loser of this is in a whirlwind, but you would like to see both of them, play well against one another.
Yeah, and I think those are what you said, the 26. So yeah, we have actually, you know what? Now that I actually get to work from home, I don't actually get to watch any of these because they don't start for another week. And I don't think Flashpoint has any matches this week. I think they postponed it a weekend. So
yeah, so ESL will be the only thing on tomorrow. And
no, I don't even think they're on tomorrow though.
Yeah, it is. It's the 19th.
For Group C?
No, it's still the same group. The same team.
Oh, I'm dumb. Don't listen to me. I didn't see that these were through. I just saw March 17th. I didn't see through the 24th. Okay.
Yeah. So it's still the same group that's playing, and it's just ongoing.
Okay. So I
morning,
do get to see some of these.
8:30 Central, I think, is when they kick off, and so do the math.
Yeah. Figure it out. Figure it out yourself. All right. Let's talk some. Not an error in the run sheet, Anuj. Let's talk some Riot for you. But before we do that, let's tell you about Thrive. Thrive Fantasy, they're your daily fantasy sports app for prop bets. You enter the code TCR upon sign-up for an instant $10 match on your first deposit of $10 minimum. That is Thrive Fantasy. There's not a whole lot of sports to bet on nowadays, but don't worry because Thrive has esports for you. So go ahead, download the app, use code TCR at sign up again for free $10 for your first $10. So let's talk about Riot because they made some additional changes or new changes to their NA tournaments community guidelines. And I actually saw some talk over this on Twitter, on Reddit, even a little bit in our Discord about how this is going to just rattle and destroy the, I don't even want to say grassroots, but like college, high school, low tier, like local league tournaments. And
so tell me, what is it exactly?
What's that?
What is it exactly?
As far as the new guidelines?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'll get to some of those and I'll highlight some. The one thing about this is that I assume everyone keeps talking about league in this, right? Because obviously that's what Riot is. I would assume the way this is worded is Riot. So this kind of falls over now. You got to start thinking they're no longer just League of Legends, right? They're Valiant. So
Valorant.
I'm never Project A.
No.
Project A. What do I keep saying? Valiant.
And
And
you're
it's
thinking
Valorant.
Overwatch. It's okay. It's okay.
I am.
At least esports is on your mind.
That is what it is. I'm so Mr. Esports. I just can't turn it off. Also, the only time an Overwatch League team gets mentioned on the podcast nowadays is when I confuse them for Valorant. So, don't know what that tells you about us, but I'm just kidding, Overwatch League. We still love you. We'll talk about you when you guys start back up. But Riot, anyways, came out with new community guidelines, which will affect, I think, more than just League. So, some of this came across. I guess people were saying that it's going to kill that college, high school thing. Maybe I'm dumb here because you know me. I'm not much of a reader, right? I'm a visual guy. Yeah. So tell me if I'm crazy here, but I kind of see Riot's side from this. Maybe that's super corporate. Maybe that's me supporting the big man here. I know you're never supposed to support anything Riot does, but
this is TCR presented by Alt Tim, not TCR Tim.
Yeah, exactly. This is corporation Tim talking here, so let me put on my corporation hat. So they say here, players experience first. The rules of the competition should promote a fun and engaging experience for players. Yep, no, that makes sense. Some of these here. You may not use Riot or League of Legends esports artwork, logos, or trademarks, including game logo treatments, blah, 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 to promote your competition or competition website. So you cannot have Riot's logo or League of Legends esports artwork on there. Not that you can't have League of Legends artwork, but you can't use the brand.
But didn't you kind of run into this issue with your Overwatch league that you were in? Like they had to change the name,
Yes.
and all that. 'Cause
And
they
that's
didn't want it to
exactly,
be
and maybe
too-
that's why I kind of see where this is not just Riot. Like these guys who pay millions and millions and millions of dollars to run a league, like Riot or Activision Blizzard, like this is normal practice. Like when I was in that kind of beer league for Overwatch, which was just so super fun. What was it originally called?
Tranquility League or something.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, man, I hated it so much I don't even remember the name. Tranquility League, and then Blizzard was like, "Hey, you can't have a league in your name because the Overwatch League. Like, we don't want any type of confusion." Which no one with a brain would confuse this league for an official Blizzard league. This league was ran as a joke, but nonetheless, maybe that's why Blizzard didn't want them to have the league. It's like, you guys are a joke. You guys suck. We don't want to be associated with you. I mean, hell,
Are you signed up for this season?
no, I haven't played Overwatch. In fact, that league killed. I haven't touched Overwatch, Anuj, since
really
I played.
haven't,
Since
since
I
I
played in
know.
that league, which was what, 6 months ago.
It was a good thing for my gaming experience that league happened to you, because now I don't have to fight for your time.
When your league has stricter rules in the Overwatch league, you know you are a no fun league. That's what I have to say about
You were
that.
also the XQC of the league, though.
There were people worse than me.
Are there?
I wasn't banned or suspended until after the season. I was definitely
'cause you're
talked
Tim
to.
from TCR. They can't do that.
I was talked to very sternly, but I did not. No, it was not. I was not that bad. I followed the rules. I towed the line. Anyways, so there's that. You can't use any of their logos. You can't use league. You can't use that type of phrasing in it. You may not suggest otherwise that your competition is endorsed or approved or affiliated with Riot in any way. That makes perfect sense.
Yep.
However, you may use the name League of Legends to promote your competition. So that does make sense. And again, I think all this you can carry over to Valorant, right? Like you can use Valorant. I don't know why that would have any different rules. All right, so not for commercial profit. And this is where I think some people are saying this is not good for the local tournaments, right? You got to think esports stadium hosts League of Legends events, colleges, schools, things like that. So you may not use the community competition license to generate revenue except as expressly permitted by the guidelines. We recognize that managing events incur certain costs. Okay? But you cannot use it to basically make profit. If profit may be achieved, you must notify us in advance of the competition to discuss how those profits will be dispersed.
Yeah, it's a big change. You wonder how, like, what goes into those guidelines, right? Like, what are they? Do they care about every small
I think
pop-up tournament?
Listen, as two people who have read contracts recently, Anuj, I think you and me are just hyper aware of that's very vague sounding. Yeah.
I could cover a lot of different areas,
Like,
right?
What do you mean? You will figure out how our profits can be dispersed. Like,
With League, Tim, it's one of those games where in my mind, like, they're so big now. The difference here between what Overwatch did or what Blizzard did with Overwatch, they killed it early in the game's lifespan by doing things like this, right?
yeah,
They did this in year 3, year 4, or whatever, years, let's just say 3, 3.5, 4. They came in and implemented all these rules just as Contenders League was growing. Apex had a good thing going on there that was keeping it active and alive in the Korean scene. And then Blizzard came in and handed down these very similar sounding guidelines. And obviously changed the way the formats of their semi-pro leagues went, and it kind of killed it off. Riot's doing this after like 10 years. I don't know how much they care about the extra publicity through like pop-up tournaments. Now, I don't understand the reasoning behind doing it unless they see that a ton of revenue is falling through the cracks with these other
Right.
organizers. But
Yeah,
I don't
I mean,
see this
'cause it does.
affecting like the bottom dollar for Riot in League of Legends. The game is like too well established at this point for, this is
Yeah.
going to hurt the individual
And I could
organizers
see
that are
like the
running them.
smaller tournaments, right? If you do rely on League of Legends to generate profit, because let's be real, we've always discussed that esports, it's hard to make money in esports,
Yep.
especially if you're a tournament organizer. So what little profit you were making from these pop-up tournaments now might turn into even less. Again, it's so vague though, if Riot cares, right? Like, what profit are we talking here? Are you going to come at me because we made $2,000 profits? Because we made, like what's the range here that I need to let Riot know? Hey, we made quote unquote profit here.
Yeah. You're right. It'll just hurt the smaller venues that are running some of these. The timing is also weird with all of this other stuff going on. Like, why release that right now? Maybe it gets lost in the news cycle
Yeah.
by doing it that way. But the timing is weird to also announce, like, well, hey, no one's hosting anything right now. Maybe some
Right.
online leagues were like going on, but again, you're right. I don't understand the reasoning, but we're seeing them kind of follow suit compared to what some of these other.
This is another thing here for prizing. A total value of your prize pool, including cash value of non-cash prizes. So that's, I feel like, key. Cash value, including non-cash prizes, meaning headsets that you win or
the gold Nintendo Cube controller that Evo gave out.
exactly. Those they'll figure out the cash value, and that goes to this limit that you cannot exceed more than 10,000 US dollars a year. For the calendar year, you cannot exceed more than 10,000. Which
would have been a good thing to ask Adam from Philly when he was on if this had happened before then. Because I bet he could potentially have some good insight as to like
all the
you need.
goofy ass rules that these guys throw at you if you're going to host a tournament. I know Blizzard has a lot. I know this is Riot, not Blizzard, but I just, from talking to people who wanted to throw like Overwatch events before Overwatch League came out, Blizzard was, they are stickler for their rules and how you use the game. Epic the same way. Like with Fortnite, even though Fortnite is everywhere, I have heard they're pretty, hey, these are the rules.
They killed off Fortnite Fridays with Fortnite, and that was the thing that, in my mind, put competitive Fortnite on the map. Were the Fortnite Fridays hosted by who was it? Keemstar at the time. Yeah. He was hosting those with pros and celebrities, just like large influencers, and Fortnite came in and cut that off. They basically put an event at the same time, same day. Keem changed it. They kind of did it again and added another event at the same time. And so we've seen all these developers take some measures to like kind of protect their entity, which they should be doing. It's just you hope it's not at the cost of like hurting the game. Again, that's where I differentiate what Riot's doing versus what Blizzard did. I think what Blizzard did genuinely hurt their game. I think what Riot's doing is to too well of an established game for it to make any difference other than to the local mom and pop TO that's trying to host events. Like, it'll hurt them, but it's not going to hurt Riot at the end of the day.
No, it's not going to. No. Yeah, absolutely not. And, who knows? Maybe this might hurt the college scene in the sense of a college looks at this and says, look, before we could just post something on Twitter, have kids show up to our student union, and winner gets a free $20 gift card to Jimmy John's, right? Now, how much hoops do you have to jump through for this to count?
When are they going to respond to you between sexual allegations that they keep getting hit with? Like, where are they going to have time to respond to all these emails coming in for...
You could probably get away with it. If you're a college, you could easily... You know what? If I was a college, I would host my own League of Legends tournament, break every single one of these rules, and then just look them dead in the eye and be like, you want to touch me? You wanna? You want?
We should host a
look
League
at
of
me?
Legends event and like make it for like domestic violence or like sexual
The charity.
just like workplace misconduct. Like make that the cause, you know,
See
and
if
just
they'll
see if they
approve it.
come at us. Yeah, just see if they come at us for it. Like, is that something they're willing to touch on?
So it's funny that you say that because charity is actually a part of this. Oh, where was it? It's somewhere in here. We'll get to that. But you can't. Certain charities are not allowed to be tied with their events. Boy, wouldn't that be funny if it was all domestic abuse charities? Like, nope, can't support those.
Sexual harassment in the workplace.
Yeah.
That's the charity I want to focus on.
Can't support those. So yeah, and listen, I know some kids. This is what I saw saw on Reddit. I'm dying. Oh man, I'm maturing because I almost made an inappropriate joke there about a serious situation going on in the world, but I decided not to because I'm a bigger man. I could see where that $10,000 hurts colleges because of the non-cash prizes. Because for what I understand, college you were not allowed to win money on either.
Yeah.
So the only thing they had was non-cash prizes like scholarships and things like that. I wonder if those still fall into that, because if that's the case, I mean, you're looking at hosting one tournament, if depending on how your prize pool is broken up into.
Oh, I'm sure we'll see some outrage come out of this if that's the case, right? And then we got to see how Riot holds people to the, you know.
I mean, that's the thing, right? All these rules are here.
Itself.
How bad are they going to enforce it, right? How much are they going to care about?
And I think you make a good point. Like, if this is across all Riot games, then yeah, this will be more interesting to see how it affects their new fighting game. How does it affect their new FPS with Valorant? Like, how does it affect these games' growth if you are not allowing like the local scenes to build up the game? Like, would it hurt it there? Maybe. I mean, is Riot still too big for that to happen? Probably. But that's where I could see it having more of an impact than to the actual League of Legends scene right now.
Now, as far as sponsorship goes for these things, part of their rules is a singular brand may sponsor no more than 3 events within a given calendar year, and that sponsor cannot have any type of esports entity relationship to it, which kind of
think
tough.
Astralis and what is that? Not Blast Pro. What's Astralis and Refresh Entertainment? You can't have Refresh Entertainment coming in with a League of Legends team and probably host an event and sponsor it by Refresh Entertainment, you know?
Yeah, it says you may not sell naming rights to an event such as Brand X League of Legends tournament and things like that. Which again, if you're trying to sell sponsors, I could see where that is tough to convince someone, hey, would you like to sponsor this event? We can't have you be a name brand for it, though.
It's one less sponsor that they have to worry about losing it, right?
With all their sexual assaults.
Mountain Dew is sponsoring, name a League of Legends tournament, they might be less inclined to sponsor an actual Riot-sponsored event.
So, and this is new rules directly going towards college and school competitions. You will find this in Section 9, right underneath Section 8, which is titled Other Legal Stuff. That was Section 8 of this. Like, this form is so official. And then Section 8 was other legal stuff. Not other legal items. Not other legal things to stuff. All right. A little bit of a give up there, right? But so this is directly related to college and high school competitions. It says here the guides apply to college and high school students. All other guidelines, blah, blah, blah. Scope. Competitions must start and finish within 14 days. Okay, that makes sense for college. No more than 16 schools may participate in a competition. Seems fair enough, right? Competitions may not be sponsored or sanctioned by any esport governing body. So it has to be ran by the
universities,
is what I'm understanding. Which I think that's where a lot of the people who are involved with college esports had an issue with. Because, again, this is... we need to ask people who are in the know on this one. But I think it was easier to get a esports governing body to host it, right? Kind of like think of
Well, because League of Legends or like a lot of these programs, schools that have esports programs, they're not like sanctioned programs, right? So they use third party involvement
right.
to set up these events and get things going for them. So if it limits that, then the school is now responsible for the cost of hosting the event, finding a venue.
Well, I think too,
In
like
some
most of
cases
the
they
time I
do,
see
but
college esports, they're at other esports events. It's not like a college tournament we're going to,
like
right?
Dallas Fuel is not going to be hosting a collegiate event for League of Legends if that was a League of Legends team anymore.
Correct.
The
Yeah,
way
like
that they did for Overwatch League
when we
and
went
all
to
that.
OP Live, when they did that here in Dallas, like what, 2 or 3 years ago, they
Yeah.
hosted a Overwatch and Fortnite tournament. They could no longer do that because it was a esports governing body, right? An esports company sanctioning that event. So
What happened to OP Live?
I can see what's that?
What happened to OP
I don't know,
Live?
just
That came and went one year, didn't it?
it came and went. I don't know, but yeah, I could see where that is kind of a stickler to the college
for
crowd,
sure.
right? Or even high school. Now, I will also say this, kids that don't understand, because I saw this on Reddit where someone was like, "Great, I was planning on going to college and competing for the team and making some cash on the side." That ain't happening no matter what. You are not going to a college sanctioned event and winning any sort of money. Like, that's just college. That's the way she goes sometimes, is you're not winning money at a college sanctioned event. Doesn't matter what Riot says or what any other developer says. That's just how college goes.
Scholarship's the closest you can get to that, which again covers a lot
I
of
don't
money,
think
but-
college is going to be like, hey, football players, you can't make money, but League of Legends players, cash it in, right? Other little rules here, and I don't think these are anything big. You can't, depending on how you title it and everything there, we already discussed. Organizers must solicit by any rights to use school, conference, or association trademark logos and brands. Basically, I guess if you're going to do it, you have to solicit your brand. Again, I think the main thing here that people were having an issue with was the not being able to be sponsored by other esports governing bodies, because again, that is so vague, right? Like, it may not be sponsored or sanctioned, but what if Envy is just involved with it, right? What if
they're at the event or something?
Yeah, what if a team is involved with it and they're help promoting it? Am I going to get my hand slapped for that? Right? What if, well, I guess, yeah, they can't sponsor it, but what if they don't sponsor it? What if they just want to help supply it?
We should probably reach out to some of our friends that are in this scene more than we are, to see how it like actually is going to affect them, right? Because again, it sounds like a lot of like lawyer jargon, on these types of...
It sounds like it sounds like lawyer jargon that's very vague, to where if you actually spoke to someone about it at Riot, they'd be like, it's okay. Like, we really have it in there.
It's not as big of a deal as you're making it out to be.
Yeah, we have it in there for one situation, because in case we ever want to veto it, we can veto it. We're going to allow 99.99% of this to go through, but we just want to have control for that 1% that we don't want going through.
Yeah, exactly. And that could be the case too.
Yeah. I mean, come on. We see rules like this happen all... Flashpoint said they're going to fine teams for being out of the top 20, and they got 3 leagues
out of 12.
Yeah, they got 3 leagues below that. So, come on.
Three teams. Yeah, they got 3 teams in the top 20 right now. Trust me, they're not sitting there fining everybody 100,000 monthly right now.
No, they're not. So, rules are there, but not always to be enforced. So, we'll just have to kind of keep an eye. But yeah, I am curious. I'll reach out to some of our more college, because we have a lot of listeners that run college programs and everything. So I'm kind of curious from their angle, how do they read it? Are we reading it differently just because we're not involved? So we'll follow up on that though. Let's get into some e-news real quick. We have
Orglis are seeking they're trying to find a coach or an analyst to come and help them out. They obviously qualified for Flashpoint. They were able to get their way in, which is amazing for them. A team that, again, that does not have an organization backing them. They're looking for a coach or an analyst to come in and help them out right now. It would probably be unpaid until they are signed with the team, but I think that's a great opportunity for a lot of people that obviously you got to be in the scene and doing something similar, right? But if you were trying to get into that coaching role and you're an analytics guy for one of these teams and not, getting really your opportunity, this is a chance for you to step up and be in a team that has paved their way into one of the two biggest leagues in Counter-Strike. So hopefully they're able to come out of this with a coach or an analyst that can really help them out.
I'll do it.
I think you should.
I can do it. Not a problem. I can probably qualify up until the paid part, and then I'll be like, hey, probably you guys don't get me. You guys got here without me. How important's a coach, anyways? I'm just here for the free jersey. In Overwatch, like we said, their league has kind of been somewhat on hiatus for a little bit, but boy, they released their schedules now, and let me tell you what, they are making up for lost time.
Yep.
Because pretty much every team in here, and especially if you are an Asian team, you are going to be playing a lot of Overwatch in the next 30 days.
We've got a lot of games to make up.
Yeah, so Overwatch is back this weekend. Shock playing Dynasty, and Valiant Battle for LA will also be taking place with the Gladiators and Valiant matching up Saturday afternoon. But again, like the Fuel in the next, I think, 30 days, like 3 weeks or so, they're playing like 11 matches, which personally for me, I love it. Part of the issue with the Overwatch League and CDL is like my teams need to be playing like almost every weekend. Like guys, we're playing video games here, okay? You practice for 80 hours a week. Why not focus a little bit more of those on meaningful matches?
Well, especially with the way that they do it, there could be like 4 or 5 week gaps in between seeing your team play, right?
Yeah.
And so that can be a real bummer, especially for like CDL. If your team's not in one event and there's like a 4-week span between seeing your team getting a chance to compete. So
it's almost like
pointless. It's nice.
It's almost pointless to even look at the standings in CDL too, right? Because you're like, oh man, these teams are so far ahead. Well, that team hasn't played in 2 weeks. Like, what do you want from them?
They haven't been at the last 2 events or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's nice that they're gonna have to play catch up in order to get back on pace. And so with the way the bans and all that are going, also it's gonna be nice to see it just a little bit more frequent than obviously the non-existence that we've had recently.
Yep. And in other news, you have Blizzard taking rupees now. Like they're accepting like Russian currency.
No, Indian currency.
Russia's rubies too, right?
No, they're rubles, right?
I don't know, bro.
Rupees are Indian currency.
All right. Well, there you go.
So another way for Blizzard to suck the money out of their fan base. No, I'm just kidding.
I think they're also doing something else in India. But did you also see that they made a what's the color festival?
Holi?
Yeah, they made a skin for it in game too.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, Blizzard, you'll be taking some of my rupees here soon.
Yep. So it might already be over. It was like a timed event, but yeah. So they are focusing a little bit on India. So might be seeing some
PUBG Mobile over there right now.
Yeah,
so
seeing some untapped potential there. They're like everywhere else is taken. Let's get India. And also, if you're watching on stream or YouTube, big shout out to Brigade and the boys over there with Zen. They sent Anuj and I some jerseys.
Some slick looking jerseys, man.
Very stylish, if I don't say so myself.
I like the American flag on the side.
Yep.
I like the camo style that they use.
If my
it's a very
tree trunk of a neck
jersey,
wasn't
for
as
sure.
big, this would be a lot more roomier, but that's what happens when you have a tree trunk for a neck. But no, I like the digital camo, that dark digital camo. I love it. So check them out, Brigade. I'll also tweet pictures of it and everything there for you. But yeah, so there is this. Once again, though, thank you to our show sponsor, Alt Esports. You can check them out on Twitter at Ultimate. Go to their website, more importantly, altesports.com. You go to collaborations, you click on TCR, and guess what? You can buy our merch. Our 101 Burglar line is available, so you can get the hoodie, you can get a t-shirt, get a onesie for either yourself or another baby you may know. They'll love it. I promise you. It says 101 burplers on it. What a dad joke. Love it.
It's cute. Love it.
Yep. So again, thank you to our friends over at Alt for helping us set that up, and looking forward to working with you boys in the future. Speaking of the future, though, that does it for this episode of The Center Ring, episode 222. It's done. It's in the books. Thank you so much for listening. Whether you listened to the whole darn thing or you skipped around, I appreciate it all the same. We'll be back Monday. We'll have some yikes of the week for you. Man, I really don't know. Maybe we'll have to talk Overwatch League, because I think it's the only
Everybody's
thing
going on hiatus, and I think I'm starting to learn why.
Like,
I think I'm starting to learn why. We'll figure it out. We will do this for you guys.
We're not
Corona's
going
not
anywhere.
gonna stop us. We'll make up something, okay? We will give you some fun content one way or the other.
Yeah. So we got time. We got time to figure it out. So that is for Monday's show. For now, make sure you follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. Join our Discord. Be a part of the conversation. Go to alt.esports.com and buy our merch. Send us pictures on Twitter of it. We would love to see it. When it ships, it will ship in April. But go ahead and buy it anyways and tell us you bought it. We would love that all the same. But until next time, I'm Tim for Anuj. We'll see ya.